All right, so this is Robert Forsch with YouTube channel Truth. I'm headed into the storm right now. We've got the moon high in the sky and the sun approaching. If you should like YouTube Truth stickers, you can get them by sending me a self-addressed stamped envelope to 169 Cloverleaf Drive, Longs, South Carolina 29568. Hey, we've got a stationary Earth. It's stationary and level, non-moving. How about that? Let that be a reminder when you hear those beautiful melodic sounds and yours truly talking about it. Stationary and level. There would be no level anywhere on a moving, spinning water sphere. How about that? So here we go. I've got something else to show you too. Oh yeah, how about that? Borax 20 Mule Team. Do you remember it as a child? What's in your water? Well, I've got a little boron in there. It's highly purified, reverse osmosis, carbon filtered. Sat it in the sun. Put a little boron in it. It's borax. 1/4 teaspoon per gallon is the amount. How about that? I wouldn't be concerned about having them want to kill me for talking about more gallons, HARP, CIA, MK Ultra, mind control. That's a little bit more serious than a cure for jock itch, athlete's foot, toenail fungus, and candida. Although boron does all of that too. The reason why I wanted to go live on YouTube or Facebook this morning, I will turn this into a YouTube video, Lord willing, if I get around to it. How about that? Little gallows humor. Let me turn on my transparent hearing. There we go. So I wanted to show us what this looks like heading on in. I was notified by a friend that there's an issue with more gallons, HARP, chemtrails. Oh, I forgot to put chemtrails in there. I like to call it weather wars. Yeah, the artificial intelligence modifies the weather and the gene pool. How about that? And the flow of information all around the world. I'm headed to a very public area, the Prince Pier in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. Reason for that is I just want to show you the beauty and majesty of this one more time. I don't know if it's going to be one last time. Might be it for me. I don't know. A lot of people that I know are very well aware of the challenges that we have exposing the reality of the world that we live in. People are killed for doing far less than what many of us are doing right now. How about that? Yeah, that's Jesus picked the right guy, the living word, the living water, the great I am, the Alpha and Omega. Oh yeah, I was built for this kind of thing. I've got a special skill set. Wanted you to hear the naturally aspirated V8 kick in. Fuel injected. Awesome ride. It's a 94 Lexus. So I'm gonna show you a couple of things here on my way in, per usual. We've got some thunderheads over there, for sure. So I might not be able to do the P1000 this morning. If I can, I will. I rain-X the windows. That might come in especially helpful. Ooh, it looks like I get to go pretty quick. Right about now. When you're looking at people that race, they can do that because they've got exceptional timing. That's one of my giftedness, or gifts. Timing and not any fear. That's what makes me so dangerous to the deception. And any of us that command that's what we bring to the table. So I private messaged a man that's got Morgellons. He's got fibers coming out of his body. I used to as well. How about that? When I was born again about 5 years ago, that stopped. And part of it had to do with dietary considerations as well as personal hygiene, baking soda, alkalinizing my body, and yet there was a missing piece of the puzzle, and the boron actually added what I needed, what I was looking for. And I was familiar with Carnicom Institute. I'm mentioning key words that were deleted from the videos that exposed some of this in relationship to boron, which is the active ingredient in borax, which is 99% boron. 99.9, something like that. How about that? So, yeah, if I had a cure for your jock itch or yeast infections or toenail fungus, no, they probably wouldn't care to ice me for that. I might just disappear. I might just vanish. Enemy of the state. How about that? What do you think? I think I look like that. According to what I know, the false pretense for war, dropping buildings in New York on September 11th of 2001, just shortly after my midlife crisis birthday. When I was 40, less than a month later, we had 9/11, 2001, and it turned my world upside down, like many of us. And yet it wasn't until about 2008 that I became aware that it was not what we were told. What we were told is not what happened. That was very obvious. And much like the shape of the earth, the reason why that matters is the short answer is the truth matters. And what's waiting for many of us that are brave enough to tell the truth is a whole lot of opposition to tell us that we're stupid and crazy and need to be drugged, don't reproduce. I'll tell you how we reproduce, by telling the truth. And other people, unbeknownst to us, may just wake up. God may remove the veil. Remove the veil, give eyes to see, a heart to embrace the truth, embrace the reality, regardless of where it leads. That's the mind-blowing part of all this. I'm approaching the intracoastal waterway, about 100 feet above the waterway, and I'm going to just go ahead and show you what that looks like heading on in. Okay, and the moon is high in the sky right there, and we can see the coastal waterway that direction, and of course over there as well. So Robbie Davidson of Celebrate Truth did an excellent job once again in presenting a mind-blowing little video that talks about how science has failed. They don't even practice the scientific method. I do it every day. I'm a living, walking, freaking science project. And I've been talking about it for years. Garbage in, garbage out. Healthy nutrients in, the truth, thought about, examined, explored, embraced, and it's the passion, purpose, eternal perspective, and power that God gave me. It isn't something I worked up on my own, just so you know. This isn't a me show, it's a we show. I am embracing a group of humanity all around the earth, all around this world, to help let people know. Ooh. Now I want to show you something. I want to get around this dude about as fast as I can. He's shooting bug spray out. What I did, just so you know, is I closed my circuit on my climate control, so I wouldn't be drawing any outside air in. So I can't even smell it. I used to be a pest control technician. I was actually chemically harmed, not only operating with pesticides and herbicides. It was also that I, as a teenager and even as an adult, I fabricated some of my own drugs, and it was criminal. It was illegal. I'm not doing it. I'm promoting health, nutrition, all of that. But what happened is it made me predisposed currently to being very chemically sensitive, even sunscreens out at the ocean or air fresheners and all that. That was part of my recovery from all this chemical damage, was to, and pharmaceutical. Yeah, it wouldn't be complete without talking about that. The pharmaceutical industry putting a chemical straitjacket on the mind of humanity. They set the mental institutions open, flung the doors wide open, let a whole bunch of people out, and just drug them. Drug the heck out of them. Drug the thinking and the volition out of them. Having an apathetic, what does it matter view of life. Well, the truth matters. So I'm gonna go right on back and unpack some of this for us, and I do believe I'm gonna head over to the coastal preserve area, maybe all the way to the ocean eventually. This right here is the Russell R. Burgess Coastal Preserve, the Prince Resort in the middle of the view. Just gorgeous, beautiful day. School bus there, a lot of children on their way to get their official information that they're supposed to know to be employable or manageable, to be indoctrinated largely. That's what's going to happen. That's what happened to me. I was presented evolution as unquestionable fact, much like when I was a child and presented the Santa Claus lie. When I woke up to the fact that Santa Claus, that whole Santa Claus thing was a lie, then they presented the moon landing hoax. How elaborate was the Santa lie? Well, almost everybody I knew was behind it, and then people I didn't know, like weather presenters, newscasters, they would show radar imagery of Santa flying over Lake Michigan with his reindeer, flying reindeer, trying to figure out, evidently he knew whether to bring me a lump of coal or my wish list. Isn't that something? So largely what we do as humanity is believe the lie we're presented as fact by the authorities, the official authorities in the situation. NASA has enthroned themselves as the scientific priests of this godless cosmic Big Bang. They're the tip of the sphere, for those of you who like plays on words. A lot of my haters think themselves very intellectual and funny. Well, I am both of those, but more important than any of that, I'm actually born again. That's the amazing thing that happened to me. So even though it's low tide, I couldn't smell it because I closed my circuit. I'll show you that out here. When it's a low tide, there's decomposing stuff, fish and all kinds of greenery, all kinds of that. What is totally obvious, if you are aware of how the reflections and all of that work out, is that all those puddles, undisturbed, the surface of those puddles, tidal pools, are not only flat, they're level, we can see the reflection. Let me try and zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Even though that's a rugged surface, I should say containers, the reflection and the symmetry is all there. So I've had an opportunity, just so you know, I'm not paranoid. I'm not freaked out about any of this. I just want people to know that there's relief from those doggone nanobots, nanotechnology. I had, as a teenager, I knew what it was like to have pimples. What was happening to me weren't pimples. They had a polyfiber, some kind of a fiber material in what looked like a pimple, and it was disgusting. And from what I understand, it's more than that. It's a control mechanism. A control mechanism for humanity. So the videos that I've featured on my channel cover that. And I've also featured, if it sounds crazy, if it sounds like it's not real, okay, so I got something special for you. Go to DARPA. Check it out. I hashtag DARPA. Their official documents expose a lot of the technology that they do. NASA doesn't always lie, just so you know. They don't always lie. When they're teaching pilots to fly fixed-wing aircraft over a stationary, non-rotating, assumed level plane, they're telling the truth. Hey, if you're flying an SR-71 at 2,193 miles an hour, you need to know if you're flying over a curved, a sphere, or you need to know if you were flying over a spinning water ball. That's not even possible, right? We know that. We know that. Many of my friends do. So I'm exposing them. They're deceivers. They're deceiving and presenting a false reality to humanity. Some of the drugs that people use would be addiction. Addiction to self-effort. Maybe trying to make themselves happy sexually or with food or philanthropy. That's good deeds. Religiosity. One of my friends, Robbie Davidson, did a video. At one of the top of his comments was somebody being critical of Robbie for exposing the Catholic Church for the deceptive organization it is. I do it often. The Pope is a Satanist. The Catholic religion is a false religion. To practice it as presented is blasphemous. There you go. And what has happened as I've been exposing the truth about all this stuff is that some people decide, yep, I'm out of here. I don't want to be any part of that fruitcake. Good, move along. Make room for people who actually love the truth. That's what I would say about that. I wanted to just show you something, and I can show it better if I just back this car up here and show you. It's on a lot of my videos. If there was any doubt whether or not the water is actually level, I want to show you. It's easier to show it with a puddle like this and the beautiful clouds that we have. In my walk-on, my extra on the set of reality. Okay, see it? See it more? See it perfectly.